This is about using your own email sequence without using any third-party tool. No Beehive, no MailSend, SendGrid, or anything. I shared in the past how I'm using Laravel jobs and queue and batches to send the marketing emails like that are delayed in the future. We're talking about 28 days. In my current situation, the trigger is ordering a GPS is triggering this device activation sequence. A little bit of the business context is that someone would order a GPS, start creating the device information, but then just leave. And of course, because we're trying to automate the follow-up and the customer acquisition, so this is the sequence that will just push the users through the actual activation, which is them picking a GPS, picking a plan, picking a billing cycle, and then doing the checkout ordering. And that's at the final stage. And the final stage is how you would activate a GPS device. That is, the end result is a GPS device that is activated and ready to start tracking. And for that, the user would select all those things by itself. The end result is device activation, which is just meaning that every other parameter that we are looking for, in our case, this is picking a GPS, picking a subscription plan, a billing cycle, and doing the payment. As simple as that, but through 28 days. So this will send 15 emails throughout 28 days, after which you're going to delete all the record and then start over. Recently, I had to also implement another validation, which is that you can't have two devices that are not activated at the same time. Because for some reason, I don't know about the UI or the UX maybe, they would create one device and go back and create a second one without finishing the first one. So now the validation rule will prevent you from creating a second one until the first one is activated. Later, we'll worry about the people that have multiple GPS devices they want to have activated throughout a fleet of vehicles. But usually those people would get in touch with you, so you don't have to worry about it. You can do it manually. The funnel itself is getting extensive. Like, we have how people would see and know about us from organic content or just downloaded the app after hearing about us, from the landing page, from the lead funnel, the sales email funnel, all the way, of course, the sales email sequence only goal is to have you order a GPS. And the device activation sequence only goal is to have you go through all the steps until checkout. Some other time, I'm going to talk about how we are doing qualification and scoring leads, but that is for another time. But yeah, so one thing I wanted to share about this specific video is how I'm doing it on the Laravel side. And I don't think I ever knew or heard about someone that did this in Laravel without using a third-party tool. Not even Laravel, but just in general, having your own email sequence in-house. This is kind of getting us a bit out of the core objective of our product. So I am trying to be careful to not go too deep into this, but I feel like the edge that we would have by having our own applications and the email sequence, we would have knowledge about the orders, which device, how many devices a user have access to, and so forth. So it just made sense for us to do it in-house. And just also because I'm curious to see why it has not been done before. See the arrows, that is just the time that we're waiting between the emails. The first one is being sent right away when you're added to the device activation sequence, which is when you started your order and added your vehicle information. Just the name of the vehicle and the category. Is it a scooter? Is it a truck? And so forth. From there, it's just time sequence between the different emails. What is really important for this email sequence is that if you're using Laravel or SQS, you just can't use SQS as your queue because it won't let you delay a job more than 15 minutes in a queue. So what I'm using for the email sequence in general is Redis. This is how it looks like. I have a base class that does the email sending. And this is for the new funnel. This is so far the architecture I came up with. Nothing written in stone so far, but this is for the sales email sequence I was telling you about. There is no point sending sales email to someone that has already have a paid order or have access to any other device. So those are the middleware that make sure that the job gets canceled, and it checks that throughout the day because it's delayed in the future. Anytime it's about to send an email, it's going to check if any of those conditions are met and then cancel it or proceed. The process is very simple. I'm kind of tempted to say it's very straightforward. I create a job with the information that I need, with sometimes middleware that I apply on a specific notification. and I put it on the Redis connection on my particular queue for my emails, and this one is delayed by 1 day. And before that, before we even send the email, like right when we initialize the batch, we check that there is no previous batch, because I mean, apparently having a batch name is not unique. So this is me checking that there is no other previous batch before even running a first one. So if we find one, we just cancel it, delete it. And the batch itself is very straightforward. This is copied directly from the documentation. I might need to do things, so I just keeping it here until I find a use case that is making sense with me. And last but not least, we added to the funnel, which this is a little bit more about our CRM internal, but nothing fancy. It just allows us to have the leads come in, tag them, and put them in a different funnel. And then everything else is just Laravel jobs, batches. This is just the email sequence and how I'm orchestrating everything together. I like the structure that I came up with so far. I didn't find any content out there about it. Probably I didn't look enough, but at least this is now documented for myself. I'll keep talking more about it and see why no one else is doing it. Or even better, does this even scale when we hit millions of users?